Let them come.
What is happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel. For today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studios series Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Battletrap. This is one of the brand new Terracons that we actually got a pretty good glimpse of in the latest teaser, and this guy goes head to head in battle against the leader of the Maximals, Optimus Primal, and appears to have actually not struck a fatal blow, which is quite surprising considering I was expecting this to be a background character that would maybe be killed off in the first couple of minutes, but definitely looking as if though he's going to be able to hold his own, and these Terracons are just going to be built differently as a whole. Now, as we jump into the details, love the designs for some of these new Rise of the Beast characters. I mean, they actually have some vehicle mode pieces on them, something which was kind of phased out towards the end of the Michael Bay era, so great to see that here with the front of the chest. You'll also notice a few different wheels and mechanical components scattered throughout him, but that head sculpt is just so cool. He looks really menacing as well. I like the kind of Gundam-esque crest that we have, and this thing's painted front to back, by the way, so I thought that was a pretty nice touch. I also like how the translucent orange that we have here in the back of the windscreen kind of gives you this internal burning effect from a front-on perspective. That looks really nice. I like the engine block detail. We do get a fake chest here, but to be honest, I don't think it looks too bad at all. Spikes sticking here, there, and everywhere, which I love. A little bit of kibble here on the underside of the arm, but not too bad. If you wanted to, you could actually transform these sections outwards, have them acting as, I guess, blasters like we saw in the trailer, or maybe some kind of handheld weapon. I guess we'll have to wait and see as to whether or not he actually uses these in the movie, but look at the detailing we have here for the thighs. Love the way that looks. We actually do get the Terracon emblem slap bang here on his crotch. I mean, this guy's definitely certainly proud of the faction he's aligned with, and as we just work our way down, again, very nicely detailed. This is why I love the live action movie figures. From every single angle, there's just something to look at, and to be honest with you guys, the back kibble actually isn't too bad on this one either. Now, as we jump into articulation, he does have a ball joint here, which allows for a great range just in itself, so we can get this looking up and down, side to side slightly, as well as left to right. You could also utilize the transformation joint to get him looking down upon his victims, which I just thought was super cool. We do get a full rotation here out of the shoulder, a hinge joint out to the side. The shoulder pad is separate, so you can individually flare this out, as so can you here with the spikes. We get a nice rotation here out of the bicep, 90 there at the elbow, nothing at the wrist at all, which is a little unfortunate, but a really nice finger sculpt. We do get a pretty decent waist joint. The hips can kick forwards that far, so you can definitely get him smacking Optimus Prime into the next multiverse. We can also get them kicking backwards, out to the sides, rotation here at the thigh, way past 90, only on a single pin joint here at the knee, so I thought that was really cool, and I like how the joint actually continues in, so it isn't just a hollowed out space. That's really sweet. And then finally, the foot can pivot forwards and backwards, as well as rock side to side. So decently articulated for a live action movie studio series figure. The only thing which kind of gets on my nerves would be this back piece. It is just held in via a few tabs and doesn't take much at all to just literally detach it. So I wish this could have locked in a little better, but other than that, a pretty sweet looking Terracon. Looking forward to Nightbird and hopefully that rumoured leader class Scourge. Now, in terms of weapons, in addition to kind of those things he has hanging out on the side of the arms, we also do get this mace. Now, we haven't seen him use this in the trailer yet, but definitely a weapon I can imagine him throwing down against Optimus Primal with. Look at the chain detailing we have on it, completely painted in silver. It is a different sculpt when in comparison to the Legacy bulkhead, for those wondering, and it simply does just open up, and we can encase it over the hand to make it look as if though it's actually transformed out of the arm, which I thought was a really sweet look, and just overall, look how sick Battletrap's looking. Now, as we jump into a few comparisons, here we have Battletrap compared alongside the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. Let them come. And I actually think they look pretty cool next to each other. If anything, Battletrap perhaps looks a little too spindly in the leg department. Personally, I think he looks a little better when posed, but this could be completely accurate to how he looks in the movie. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Here's Transformers 4 Galvatron, Optimus Primal from the Transformers Kingdom toy line, Deluxe Class Off-Road Bumblebee, and the Deluxe Class Bumblebee movie RC. Now, for transformation, as you guys I'm sure expect, this is a live-action movie figure, so it's going to be a little more complex than your average Generations figure, but very nicely done. So, to kickstart things off with, I personally like to take the toes and just tilt those forwards. We can then take these compartments, hinge them out to the sides, and a few things you'll notice is that there's actually some internal sculpting and detail, which we won't even see when we get into the truck mode, so really like that. That's a really sweet touch. We can also do the same here for this side. Come up to the thighs now, take these panels, detach them, and swing them all the way around to the back. Do the same here for this, and this section is actually going to slide into this slot, so clip that into place. We can then take these pieces, swing those around, and then swing these pieces out. Do the same here for the second side, so just attach all that. We can now take the head, disengage it as it does actually lock into a tiny peg here on the back, and then take the faux chest and pull this section here forwards. What that will then allow us to do is come around to the back, take the light bar, swing these sections around, and then you'll actually want to combine them, and there are two tiny tabs that are just going to lock into place just like that. So pretty straightforward so far. Then you're going to want to detach this, so just loosen it up and shift it backwards. We can then take these pieces, bring these sections forwards, and that will allow us to rotate this piece around and then flip out what will become the real front grille of the truck mode. We can now take the waist joint, rotate it so that the front is also facing the back, so quite a lot going on, but believe me, it does tidy up in quite a few simple steps. We can now take the neck joint, hinge this section in, take this whole piece and just stow it up in there like that. We can now rotate the shoulders upwards, take the spikes, and what's going to happen is this larger spike is actually going to slide into a tiny slot here on the back of the arm, so just make sure that you get that lined up properly. We can then detach the shoulder joint and then bring this here all the way around. Come to this side, flip this section up, take the spike, fold this piece up, and then just simply push that spike into that tiny gap. Disengage this section here, swing it around into that cavity. So far so good. Now comes a little challenging part. So first of all, you're going to want to make sure that you get this front piece squeezed into this gap. So shift this forwards, snap that into place. Once that's locked in, we can then take this section and snap it into place really securely. And there are some tiny little tabs here, which also will just lock into place. Then you're going to want to take these panels, swing those around. They're going to snap in there. Come to this section, rinse and repeat. Make sure that these arms are nice and lined up. Bring these pieces into the center and then just pinch them. There's a tiny tab that will peg into that slot. So let's just give that there a little squeeze. And with all that being said, here we have Terracon Battletrap fully transformed up into his officially licensed GMC tow truck and looking sick. Don't get me wrong, I love the vehicle modes for some of the past villains that we saw for, say, Transformers 4, you know, the Lamborghini was awesome, but this really does look like it could deal damage in alt mode. I can imagine this thing ramming into the side of Optimus Prime and literally taking him clean out. So, like how heavy duty these look, and in terms of detail, this thing looks fantastic. As we take a look here at the front, much like the bot mode, we get this really nice weathering effect for the bumper. This is officially licensed, so we do get some pretty decent details for the front. And like I said previously, this section here, the engine block in the teaser, appears to fire a missile out of it to take down RC and Wheeljack. That is just so cool. Cannot wait to see this guy actually in battle. Here we have the Bernie's Towing and Auto Body logo here along the side. Will this be a nice reference to Bernie Mac from the 2007 movie? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Decent translucent orange plastic. Love the way that looks, as well as some pretty nice striping details. We do get the light bar here as well. One thing which is worth mentioning is that no matter how hard I push, this section does just not want to go all the way in. It continuously just wants to spring out. Could just be my copy, but I thought it was something worth bearing in mind. And even here at the back, not looking too bad. We get this whole towing assembly, which looks to be pretty accurate to the vehicle we've seen on set. A little bit of kibble here for the hands and the forearms, but nothing too distracting, and I do like the tail light details. That's a pretty sweet touch, and I really like how they've actually given us two distinctive wheel sculpts for the rear. This could have been one whole piece, but no, these do roll independently of one another, so thought that was really cool. This is what the underside looks like for those wondering, and this is it here from a bird's eye perspective. So very sweet looking truck. Cannot wait to see this guy on the big screen. And in terms of some weapon storage, we can bring back in that mace. We get two slots on either side, which is going to slide over the top of these tabs. So snap that one in, and then just clasp this here over the top, and again, you can have him smacking Prime down even in truck mode. Now, as we take a look at a few vehicle mode comparisons, here we have Battletrap compared alongside, again, the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. just so you guys can see roughly how these two stack up. Here he is next to the Age of Extinction Voyager Studio Series Galvatron, which I believe was a Freightliner Argosy, so definitely a pretty sizable Voyager. And then finally the off-road Jeep Bumblebee that we saw previously. One of my favourite Bumblebee molds, by the way, guys, and again, definitely decent Voyager to Deluxe ratio. And wrapping up on this review for Battletrap, overall it's a really nicely done figure. For one of the first Rise of the Beast figures I'm reviewing, I'm quite impressed. I think the robot mode design surprisingly is very accurate to the CGI that we saw in the latest teaser trailer. You know, some of these newer characters, they never really get the designs spot on first time round, but this one appears to be pretty close. I think the articulation is decent, transformation not too complex, not too involved, but really refreshing. Definitely nothing we've seen from some of the past transformations for live action movie villains, so I thought that was sweet. And the truck mode just looks killer. I am such a big fan of how these Terracons as a whole are shaping up, and I'm so excited to actually see Scourge, as that has got to be one of the most badass looking trucks they have ever brought into the live action movies. But getting back to Battletrap, an officially licensed GMC tow truck, which is wicked. He has a decent kind of mace accessory, and I do like that you can utilize those arm pieces as cannons or additional kind of handheld weapons. I guess we'll have to wait and see as to whether or not he actually uses them in the film, but a really impressive figure. I definitely like it quite a bit, and it appears as if though he's going to be one of the main villains of the film, so definitely one to pick up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this guy down in the comment section below. What do you think of the figure and just the design in general, and what do you think about this being a Terracon and not a Decepticon? As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.